Today, we embark on an adventure into a fantastical world where magic, love, and betrayal intertwine. The story we're about to witness is based on ancient Russian fairy tales, and it's one that promises to touch your heart with its deep inner meaning. Let's begin as we journey back to a time long ago when magic and magicians held great influence over society. A colossal ship sails across the vast sea, bringing back the king of ancient Russia. The king has gathered a powerful and mysterious book from distant lands, one filled with spells capable of performing miracles. Among those on the ship is a trusted servant and a mysterious magician who speaks with quiet authority. She tells the king, "The book we've obtained is filled with magic that can do wonders. It can even restore the sight of Princess Lala, who has been blind since birth." The king is determined to bring this powerful book to his kingdom, Belver, to restore his daughter's sight. Meanwhile, in the kingdom, Princess Lala is being trained by Commander Thomas, the king's trusted officer. Even though she cannot see, Lala is learning the art of martial combat through her keen sense of hearing and the guidance of Thomas. She is determined to become a warrior despite her blindness. At the watchtower, an elderly man rings the time bell. He has been doing this for years, keeping track of the time for the people of the kingdom. His brother Isaac comes to visit him. Isaac is eager to start his own business and seeks money. However, the old man knows that Isaac has been gambling and robbing people, rather than working honestly. Meanwhile, Thomas is busy preparing the kingdom for the king's return. He tells two workers, Luca and Bala, to light the signal fire on the seashore to guide the king's ship safely to port. They agree, but Luca, driven by greed, secretly plans to sink the ship and loot its treasures. As the signal fire is lit, the king's ship steers toward it, but the sea's violent currents tear the ship apart. The next morning, Luca and Bala search the wreckage but find no treasure. Instead, they come across the magician, who is gravely injured. With his dying breath, the magician urges Luca to give the magic wand to the queen before he passes away. Luca takes the wand, and Bala rips the magician's precious amulet from his neck. As Luca starts chanting a strange incantation, a powerful energy emanates from the wand. Realizing the power in his hands, Luca wields the wand with malicious intent. The queen arrives on the scene and sees Luca and Bala looting. Luca uses the wand to control her, causing her to forget everything and make him the new ruler of the kingdom. In a shocking turn, the queen declares Commander Thomas a traitor and forces him to become her servant. Thomas, now helpless, is transformed into a crow by Luca's dark magic and flies away. Back at the kingdom, Thomas's uncle is heartbroken as royal servants take away all of Thomas's belongings. Isaac, Thomas's younger brother, tries to intervene but is thrown into prison for his troubles. With Luca now the ruler of the kingdom, he tells the queen that Bala will be the new ruler. The queen reluctantly agrees, as the power of the magic wand holds her captive. As the kingdom changes hands, Princess Lala arrives at the royal court, searching for her mother. However, the queen no longer recognizes her. In a fit of anger, Luca casts a powerful spell, throwing Lala into a mysterious pot. The pot is thrown across the room by Bala in fear, and it lands in the hands of the servant Thomas. The winds of fate have begun to turn, and the power of the magic wand is now in full force. 3 years passed, and even though the servant was gravely injured, he managed to escape. With the magical plate still in his possession, he took refuge in a dry well, hidden from the world. Meanwhile, Isaac, the younger brother of the disgraced Commander Thomas, found himself in the dungeon, playing a game of luck with one of the soldiers. In a twist of fate, Isaac traded his clothes with the soldier, and when other soldiers came by, they only recognized him by his clothes, not his face. Seizing this opportunity, Isaac escaped the dungeon and made his way to the borders of the kingdom. As Isaac fled, a fierce war was raging between the queen's forces and the enemy queen of Pashupati, led by the new commander, Bala. Desperate to escape, Isaac ran into the jungle and sought refuge in the dry well where the mysterious magic plate lay. Upon discovering it, Isaac found a black stone and a peculiar metal object inside. He thought the objects might be some kind of fire starter and decided to keep the plate with him. As Isaac continued to wander, 2 soldiers from the kingdom arrived and captured him. They brought him before Commander Bala, who at that moment was triumphant in the war that had just ended. The soldiers ordered Isaac to be executed, and they took him deep into the jungle. But Isaac, quick on his feet, created confusion among them. Just as the soldiers began to close in on him, a rope descended from the sky, attached to a hot air balloon. Isaac, without hesitation, grabbed the rope, and a mysterious adventurer pulled him up. Isaac questioned the adventurer, who explained that he was an explorer, seeking new places and knowledge. "I'll take you to a remote place," Isaac said, "but don't touch anything." However, Isaac's curiosity got the better of him, and he inadvertently pulled a lever. The hot air balloon began to descend rapidly, and the adventurer panicked. As the balloon plummeted, Isaac accidentally dropped a burning bag, causing a fire. They barely managed to lighten the balloon to keep it from crashing. But in the chaos, Isaac lost consciousness after chewing on a tree branch. When Isaac regained his senses, he quickly gathered dry wood and tried to start a fire using the magic plate. To his surprise, as he rubbed the black stone and metal object together, a flash of lightning erupted from the plate. In an instant, a figure emerged from the smoke, a woman named Lala, who was disoriented and confused. "Where am I? Who are you?" she asked. "I am a soldier," Isaac replied. "And you're in the jungle." Isaac, puzzled, inquired, "How are you inside that stone?" Lala explained, "It's a magic stone. I was imprisoned in it." Isaac, intrigued but skeptical, asked if she could help him. "Give me some money for this stone," he said, hoping for a reward. Lala responded, "It doesn't give easily, but it will certainly grant you what you wish." As they spoke, an old man appeared and asked for help chopping wood in exchange for a small reward. Isaac, uninterested, declined. However, as he and Lala continued their conversation, Isaac began to realize that the magic stone might have more power than he first thought. "Who are you, really?" Isaac asked. "I am the daughter of the king," Lala revealed. "Rajkarna Lala." Isaac was hesitant to believe her, but remained curious. "If you show me your earrings, I'll take you to the queen," Lala said, explaining that the queen would recognize her if she saw the royal earrings. But when Isaac examined the earrings, he realized they were not authentic. He saw an opportunity to use Lala for his own gain. "If you can show me where the royal family is, I can find the queen and gain what I need," Isaac said. Lala agreed, guiding Isaac along the path she had walked as a child. Soon they reached a village bar where Isaac instructed Lala to wait. He gave the shopkeeper a coin, asking him to feed her. Meanwhile, in the palace, King Luca and Queen Lala dined together, unaware of the looming danger. Commander Bala entered the room, and Luca praised him for his efforts in winning the war, though he mentioned the dwindling power of the magical bow that had saved them. Luca knew that if they didn't regain the full power of the magic, they could lose the next battle. Back at the bar, Lala waited for Isaac, working quietly as she had no other choice. Isaac, following her instructions, snuck into the royal treasury, intending to steal the kingdom's riches. But as he attempted to flee, he was caught by the king's soldiers. He ran through the palace, finding a secret door to hide in, but the soldiers were close behind. Isaac was eventually captured and brought before King Luca. "What were you after?" the king demanded. "I came for the magical bag," Isaac replied. "I know its power is fading, but I can restore it." Luca, intrigued but suspicious, ordered Isaac to leave. But before he could go, Isaac added, "I know how to get that magic back. I need 2 special things. The first is the magic stone hidden in the forest cave." Isaac's words caught the king's attention. The king listened closely, knowing that Isaac held the key to restoring the lost power. Luca demanded to know Isaac's intentions, but Isaac had a plan. He told Luca that the magic of his bag was running out, and only by obtaining 2 special items, a magic stone hidden in a forest cave and a branch from a bird's nest, could Luca restore his power. Luca, intrigued and enraged, agreed to Isaac's terms, but only if Isaac retrieved the items first. Thus began Isaac's journey. He first visited his uncle, who gave him soil from his land, urging him to keep it safe. After crossing forests, mountains, and vast oceans, Isaac and Lala arrived at the cave. But as Isaac entered the cave, he was confronted by soldiers who immediately arrested him. They brought him before the king, who was about to sentence him to death. However, Lala intervened, challenging the king's son to a fight. She fought blindfolded, easily defeating him with her skill and courage. The king's son was taken captive, and the people celebrated Lala's bravery. In gratitude, the king agreed to release Isaac and offer them the magical gift they sought. However, as they made their way out of the cave, Lala's condition worsened. Isaac, distressed, vowed to make everything right for her. The magical stone seemed to pulse with power, and Isaac's heart swelled with determination. The journey took them across snowy mountains, where they met a clairvoyant who warned them of the dangers ahead. Lala, despite her blindness, pressed on, determined to reach the lair of the birds. She crossed the treacherous mountain on foot, and Isaac, ever by her side, witnessed her strength. When they reached the lair of the birds, the magical beings questioned their motives. Isaac, desperate, promised to give his life for Lala. The birds, impressed by his sacrifice, granted him the magical column. Returning to the kingdom, Isaac presented the magical column to King Luca. He demanded the queen's release in exchange. Luca, greedy and unwilling to part with his newfound power, rejected the offer. He tried to use the column to restore his strength, but Isaac fought back, using the black stone to signal the return of the royal forces. In the chaos that followed, Isaac used the power of the stone to reverse time, returning to the moment when Luca had tried to kill him. The stone's magic led him to a new fate, one where the past was rewritten. Isaac, now stronger and wiser, used the signal fire to call for the kingdom's salvation. Luca, in his desperation, fell victim to his own greed, while Isaac, with Lala by his side, found a new beginning. The magical black stone did not take his life as it had threatened, but instead it gave him a new one of peace, freedom, and love. And so the tale of Isaac, Lala, and the magic stone came to an end as they returned to the kingdom, their journey complete, their bond unbreakable. Thank you for watching.